Hello, you beautiful souls. Thank you for being here. Grab yourself your favorite cup of tea or cacao and join along on this journey towards the full moon in Capricorn. Now, everything that you saw at the beginning of this video and this cacao, which is from my dear friends at Cacao Laboratory, is linked in the description box below. Just a disclaimer that I do receive a portion of the proceeds, but I only support businesses that I truly love and I use, and I try to support women-owned businesses, small businesses, and really moving away from Amazon and all of these large capitalistic structures, which is the perfect segue into our discussion today. We are talking about the energies that are leading up to this full moon in Capricorn, which is happening on Thursday, June 24th, 2021 at, I believe, 2:40 p.m. Eastern time. Let me double check. Yes. So adjust for your time zone. And this is happening at 3 degrees and 27 minutes of Capricorn. And just a little background if you are new to astrology. A full moon happens when the moon is opposite the sun. So the moon is in Capricorn, opposite the sun in Cancer. And if you didn't know, we just experienced the summer solstice here in the northern hemisphere, and the winter solstice if you were in the southern hemisphere. For my southern hemisphere friends, just adjust for the different seasons. I know Western astrology can be very northern hemisphere specific because our astrology goes with the growing seasons through the sun cycle. So the summer solstice happened here, at least in the United States, on Sunday, June 20th, which happened to be Father's Day, which happened to be my dad's solar return. And a lot energetically is moving. And I also have a podcast, so feel free to listen to that. And I also have an Instagram and TikTok. But I've been speaking a lot about how June to me felt like a very significant month for change, for forward movement. And I believe it's because every June, it's the midway point between where we started in January to where we're going at the other solstice, the winter solstice here in the Northern Hemisphere, December 20th, 2021. So I really believe that with all of the energies and astrological transits that are happening, and just collectively, I think everyone is feeling the energy and the shifts more than ever. I feel like more people are aware of these energetic shifts, and the more people I talk to who aren't necessarily into astrology or divination or the esoteric realms, they can see that something is happening, right? Collectively, individually. And it's not a surprise after the year we've had in 2020, where everything was shown to us, 2020 vision, right? I know a lot of astrologers, even myself, said that something big was coming and it was going to be something that was going to rock our world. And we were seeing at a collective level the structures of our society, very Capricorn, that were just not in alignment with who we are as a collective anymore. And I just wanted to remind everybody that December 26th of 2019, we had a new moon solar eclipse at 4 degrees of Capricorn. So this is the closing out of that larger cycle. And at that time, the sun, the moon, and Jupiter were all together. Jupiter was 5 degrees, and in astrology we call that a conjunction, when they're all in alignment. And Saturn and Pluto were also in Capricorn. So we had the sun, the moon, Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto all in the sign of Capricorn. And all of last year we had a lot of Capricorn energy. And Capricorn is ruled by Saturn in classical and modern astrology. And Capricorn, as well as Saturn, rules our skeletal system, the structures, our bones. And in our society, Capricorn and Saturn rules the structures and institutions of our society, such as the government, such as institutions, all the isms, right? Capitalism, the patriarchy. And Saturn, which is, you know, the planet of time, it is associated with Kronos, the Greek god of time. It is associated with discipline, karma. And when I say karma, I just mean that it's something that you have to work through in your lifetime for the long haul, right? Because Saturn is all about, you're going to have to put in the work every day, being disciplined, being responsible, putting in the work day by day in order for you to reap the rewards that you have put in. It's not going to be this fortuitous, like instantaneous thing that just drops into your lap. It's going to be something that you have to work for. So what that tells me is that that was like the beginning of, you know, what we experienced as the global panorama, the pandemic levato. If you know me, you know I don't like to speak words that I don't want to experience, so I just make fun and use humor. But that is when the first cases of COVID-19 were starting to come out. And you can listen to so many astrologers who are talking about the COVID-19 virus that is related to Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto being in Capricorn. Because a virus and any pandemic in our history shows the shadow sides, shows the shadows of our structural institutions that need to be seen. And it's unfortunate that so many lives were lost in this process, especially living in New York, just seeing it, you know, firsthand. But a lot of people now, June 22nd, 2021, as I'm filming this, I have seen this massive awakening. And we can talk about awakening on so many levels, right? We can talk about it at the level of knowing that we are part of oneness, we are part of divinity. But the awakening that I'm talking about is awakening to the capitalistic structures, the patriarchy, the white supremacy that's been rampant, that it's always been there in American society. I can only speak to the American experience because I'm American, but it happened globally. We saw it everywhere. So that was the beginning. December 26, 2019. And I find this date to be so... when I saw that that was the new moon solar eclipse, it just reminded me that that was the day I decided to become sober. My last drink was on Christmas, December 25th, 2019. And the next day I decided to become sober, really as guidance from spirit to tell me to clear out my body, to really feel the feelings, to really get in touch with my shadow self, to not numb anymore and to stop running away. And I find that to be so just, the universe's timing is always right, because I decided to film this on June 22nd, 2021, because Mercury in Gemini went direct. And tomorrow, which is Wednesday, Mercury Wednesdays, June 23rd, we have a beautiful aspect in the sky between the Sun in Cancer, trine Jupiter in Pisces, going retrograde. And then on June 24th, we have our new moon in Capricorn, which I will speak about. And then I will also go through each of the rising signs. And I'm going to pull, and I'm going to divine, I'm going to do a little divination. I'm going to pull an oracle card for the general energy. And then also some tarot cards. So this is the first time I'm doing this. And it's so exciting for me because I've been doing this for my friends and for my circles, and to a lesser degree on my podcast. I've been dabbling here and there. But during this Mercury retrograde and then Saturn retrograde, I was just thinking about, what is it that I really want to do? What is it that I really want to share? Like, why am I here? What am I doing here? And as a Sagittarius rising here and an Aquarian moon, I just really always ask myself these questions. Like, what am I doing here? And what if I'm doing something, is it going to be impactful? And these are some questions that you could start asking yourself, because this new moon, this full moon in Capricorn, is all about what you have learned since 2019, December 26, 2019. It was like an 18-month cycle. What have you learned from 2020? What have you seen? What have you experienced? Because collectively we went through a pretty traumatic 2020. We went through a panorama, and there was a lot of fighting, there was a lot of hostility, there was a lot of just not really knowing who to believe, the truth being very Mercury, Neptune and Pisces, right? And just really leaning back into our intuition, going back into what is true. And I really believe that's why astrology, tarot, divination, all of these spiritual circles became so popular, because I think collectively and individually we all realize that there's more to life than this physical reality, which is so funny that we're going to be talking about Capricorn, because I feel like out of all the signs, Capricorn is the most misunderstood. I would say Capricorn, Gemini, and Scorpios are given the worst rap, and I feel like Capricorn especially, it's always the shadow aspects of Capricorn that are highlighted, right, in pop culture. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the energy of Capricorn, and also the sun being in Cancer, because when you have a full moon, it's an opposition, and an opposition in astrology I would say it's a tense aspect, right? Because you're seeing something, you're being fully illuminated to something, because the two luminaries are being highlighted. The sun being our vitality, our ego, our masculine energy, our yang energy, opposite the moon, which is reflective. It's our yin, it's our subconscious, it's our emotional body, it is our feminine aspect. And the two being opposite each other, it's like, okay, wow, like I'm truly seeing like what has manifested, what has been otherwise maybe not, you know, visible to my eyes, or visible in out of the subconscious realms. The sun right now is in Cancer, which is interesting because the moon is exalted in Cancer. The moon rules Cancer, or Cancer rules the moon. You know what I'm saying. And so being opposite the moon in Capricorn is this very interesting energy, because the moon doesn't necessarily like being in Capricorn. Capricorn is an earth energy. It's ruled by Saturn, and in energetic archetypical terms, Saturn is seen as like the father archetype, right? The masculine figure in your life who gives you orders. It's like that boss energy, you know, who is like, you need to eat your broccoli, and you need to work harder, and you need to go to school, which is opposite the moon and which is opposite the sun in Cancer. And Cancer is the mother archetype. Cancer is super nurturing. Cancer is all about the feels. And in astrology, Cancer is the crab, and the outer shell. Cancers have this like hard, you know, exterior, because it carries its home all around us, but in the inside it's mushy, and it's really sensitive, and it's really soft, and it's a water sign. And Cancer rules the 4th house, which is the house of the home. It's our roots, it's our ancestry, it's the bottom of the chart of the wheel. And it really represents the part of our lives where we feel the most comfort, where we feel the most nurtured and at home and at, you know, cozy vibes. And Capricorn is at the top of our chart in the 10th house, and it talks a lot about career, legacy, of the mark we want to leave on this earth. And Capricorn to me really embodies this energy of success. And if I was to give a city Capricorn vibes, it'd be New York City, because the energy of New York is, if you don't make it here, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. And that is very much the vibe of the sea goat that is represented by Capricorn. And I just wanted to show you, this is the Wild Unknown Tarot deck. The devil in tarot represents Capricorn energy. And it's this little devil with a pentacle on its third eye with fiery hooves. And whenever people get this card, they see it as a negative thing. And again, in astrology, as with tarot, how I use it is to really tap into whether you're tapping into your shadow aspect or the activated light attributes. So for the light attributes of Capricorn, we can talk about never giving up. If you think about a goat, if you've ever seen a mountain goat trailing along the mountain, it literally can go anywhere on the mountain. It can make its way all to the tippy top of the mountain on a little tiny trail. Goats never seem to tire. They just keep transcending the mountain. And it's a sea goat, so the goat can make it through the oceans, the waters, and the mountains on Earth. And the shadow aspect, though, of Capricorn is that when it does not get what it wants, when Capricorn energy is like, why is this taking so long? Why are my struggles like all over my life? Why can I never seem to get it right? Why is this happening to me? Why can't my dreams come true? Why doesn't it come faster? Because again, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, which is about time, which it's going to require, you know, diligence and hard work and perseverance. And when that happens, Capricorn can tap into its more shadow aspect, which is addiction, negative thoughts, and working too hard, and really focusing on the material realm. And I think that's also why Capricorns get this bad or this misinterpreted interpretation of being money obsessed, being obsessed with material things, being obsessed with success, because they don't, again, like the lower non-activated Capricorn doesn't know where to channel that energy, so usually channels it through working in the material realm in the way that it knows how, because Saturn also rules the past. So when you can tap into the more expansive energies that are available to us right now, because again, Saturn is contraction, you know, we have Jupiter in Pisces, which is the most expansive energy. Saturn rules Capricorn and Jupiter rules Pisces. And I think that when you can tap into that Jupiterian energy in Pisces, which is all about spiritual expansion, dreaming, envisioning, and just really tapping into your intuition and your emotional body, it can really help you during these more, you know, Capricornian transits, like this full moon in Capricorn. And with that being said, with the sun being in Cancer, Jupiter being in Pisces, Neptune being in Pisces, there's a lot of water energy. Uranus is currently in Taurus, Saturn is in Aquarius. So there is more, I mean, we're in a water season, we're in Cancer season, which is all about our emotions, and it's ruled by the moon, so our emotions are going to change every 2 days. So the more you can be in tune with your emotional body and understand that your emotions are just your GPS system of how you're feeling in the moment, but again, it's just temporary, and focusing on your dreams, your visioning, where your attention goes, energy flows. That's how you move through these more, I guess, denser transits, Capricornian transits. I'm personally going through a pretty gnarly Saturn transit on my moon, so it's really just like contracting me in a way that I never felt before. But I've just been really tapping into this Jupiter in Pisces energy and Neptune in Pisces of meditation, of tapping more into my spirituality, and just really envisioning the life that I want to live versus the past, which is very Saturn focused. So Saturn is going through its continual, you know, square with Uranus, and Saturn again is the past, whereas Uranus is the future. So really what we're being asked to do for the rest of this year is to integrate what we've learned from the past, what we have experienced throughout, let's say, okay, you want to look more specifically at the last 18 months. And if you want to go deeper into that, maybe the last 10 years or 19 years or your whole life, right? And see how you can integrate the lessons you've learned to the future that you want to create. Because squares aren't about like one wins over the other. That's not how I interpret square energy, the 90-degree angle. I interpret it as more integration of, okay, these are the experiences I've had in these last 18 months. This is what I've learned. This is what I don't want to experience going forward. And this is what I can take forward, knowing that I just knew what I knew at the time with the information given to me. But what I know now is, you know, you can only see hindsight in 2020. I think that's what Steve Jobs said. It's that whatever lessons that you've learned from all of the trials and tribulations, because we've all been through trials and tribulations. I don't know anybody that has not in the last 18 months. These are the things that I'm going to take forward with me. So I just wanted to give that brief collective overview of this full moon in Capricorn, because Capricorn can be, I don't want to say difficult or easier, but because I'm like an eternal optimist, Jupiter rules my chart. So I'm always like, Capricorn, I love Capricorn. I love all the signs. From this moon ritual box. So we went from the new moon in Gemini to now the full moon in Capricorn. So we were in a waxing phase where the moon was growing. So you set an intention, or maybe you didn't because it was an eclipse, and I know some astrologers have some things to say about that. But if you did and you set an intention for the new moon, and you know, 2 weeks later we're here at the full moon in Capricorn, you should start seeing the seeds or the growth of the intentions that you were starting to set, because the moon was growing. And now after the full moon, that's why some people think of the full moon as the manifestation, because it comes into form. From the full moon to the new moon is the waning phase, where it starts to decrease the moon's light, and then that is where you start releasing the things that no longer serve, or that you see, okay, that's not working, I need to release that. So with that being said, I would love to go through each of the rising signs. Great. So if you are a Capricorn rising, this is happening in your first house. And again, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is your chart ruler. So interestingly enough, Saturn is going retrograde right now in Aquarius in your second house. So whenever large transits with Saturn are happening, this is going to affect you even more because Saturn is your ruler. The first house is all about us. It's our body, it's how we see ourselves, it's how other people see ourselves, it's our life force energy, it's how much energy that we feel we have. It's our identity, like how we see ourselves, our value. It really is the embodiment of I am, like the I am statement. So for Capricorn rising, this full moon happening in your first house, what have you realized about yourself in the, you know, the last 18 months or the last 6 months since the new moon in Capricorn that happened December of 2020? And what things are you ready to release that no longer serve your identity for the highest good of your highest timeline? And yeah, like what things are you manifesting about yourself? Again, this happening in your first house is all about your identity, the I am statements. I think a great practice to be doing at this time actually is to write I am statements. I am abundance. I am prosperity. I am love. I am enough. I am worthy. I love myself. And I actually, since eclipse season, because let me tell you, this eclipse season really knocked me out. I started going back to my older, I guess, like spiritual practices when I first got into all of this metaphysical, esoteric practices. Is I started creating I am statements. Okay, this is amazing. So your overall energy is by the book, number 11, and 11 is a master number. And I don't know if this is gonna focus. Is it gonna focus? Okay, and I love that there's elephants here, and there's 3 elephants. So something that I forgot to mention in numerology, 3 is the number of creation. 3 is the number of creativity. It's the 3 represents the Empress card, which is all about bringing into physical form your dreams and your inspirations and your intentions. And I feel like with 3 elephants here, elephants, I know in Hindu mythology with Ganesh, elephants break down barriers. Elephants are very spiritual animals. They bring good luck to a lot of cultures. And 11 being the master number, June is the universal 11 month, 6 being the month, 5 being the year, 11. So this to me means you're in alignment with whatever you're doing at this time. I know Capricorn risings, you know, when you do maybe feel like you're working really hard, when you're not seeing the manifestations of all the hard work and effort that you've been putting on, you tend to ask yourself, am I doing enough? Is this enough? Am I on the right track? And this to me is a sign that you are. But being by the book, maybe you need to go back to very simple habits like meditation, quiet time, contemplation, journaling. Bringing yourself back to your value, what values you bring into this world. Okay, so I'm gonna pull some 3 tarot cards to clarify. Yeah, and I think Capricorns also get this bad rap for detaching emotionally. And when you find yourself doing that, I think a great practice is to integrate some of that Cancerian energy, going back into your emotional body, asking yourself, how do you feel? How do you feel? Because your emotions will tell you how you feel. And again, where your attention goes, energy flows. So make sure you are getting out of this shadow side devil energy of having negative thoughts, of thinking of life as not working for you, but working for you, not against you. You could tell, like, gosh, Mercury's still in retrograde for me. Okay. So we have here the Two of Pentacles, and I'm showing it to you in the order that they came out. Five of Wands and the Ace of Cups. This is so beautiful, and it goes in alignment with the overall energy that I pulled out. Well, first of all, again, being in alignment, the Two of Pentacles talks about balance, right? And I love that it's a figure 8 here. And whenever I see this card, I see this as alignment of what truly gives you the rewards of whatever you're thinking about, asking about, wanting to call in. It's being in alignment with your mind to your heart. Mind and heart alignment. Because when you can be in alignment with your mind and your heart, the actions kind of speak for themselves. Like, you know how to act. Capricorn risings, you know how to work hard. That's not the issue. The issue is, can you quiet your mind long enough to be in alignment when you do go through these moments of conflict or obstacles, which is the Five of Wands here, when you do go into all of this, what am I doing with my life? Why isn't it working out? You know, just remember to align with your mind, your body, your energy, and you will get the greatest reward, the Ace of Cups. And I love seeing the Ace of Cups because the Ace of Cups to me truly means fulfillment of an emotional thing. We are emotional beings. We are vibrational beings. And whatever truly, truly, truly gives you this emotional satisfaction, this overflow of love, of abundance, of overflow, is when you can align your heart, your mind. When things get a little crazy, do your affirmations, your I am affirmations. I see 11 as also a portal, as a master number of moving from one stage of life to another. And knowing that whatever obstacles come in your way, do not give up. Capricorn risings, Capricorns in general, if you have a stellium, a moon, a sun, you do not give up. You just keep going forward. But remember to take care of your emotional body. Tap into more of that Cancerian energy, into your heart space, and you will be so good. So good. Because this is like one of the best cards to get, actually, in my humble opinion, because I feel that everything we do is to get this cup, is to get the Holy Grail, is to get this emotional fulfillment, this offering. Okay, amazing. My Aquarius risings. This is happening in your 12th house. So interesting that you have Capricorn in your 12th house, because the 12th house is all about the hidden realms, things that you do not see. And Capricorn being there, so interesting. You might be shown something that was hidden to you, some knowledge, or since Mercury is going direct, some knowledge, some piece of information that's going to help you. Maybe you're closing out some kind of chapter. I mean, you are also ruled by Saturn in classical astrology, and you are ruled by Uranus in modern astrology. So I find it very interesting that this year we have the Saturn and Uranus square, which you must be feeling, you know, a pull from your past to your future. Like, I definitely don't want to be in the past. I definitely don't want to be, I'm definitely not seeing my future come into manifestation yet. So you're kind of in this like limbo area where you're like, ah, where do I go? And you're in that unknown space. Because Saturn in classical astrology rules your first house if you're Aquarius ascending, but also Capricorn is your 12th house in classical astrology. So interesting. I mean, Aquarians are, I have my moon and Venus in Aquarius, so I know this energy very well. Like different, very unique, very eccentric, very alien, very galactic. Aquarius rules astrology and technology. So you've always been a little bit different, unique. So yeah, I think you're tapping into a part of you that maybe you didn't see before with this full moon in Capricorn. Some hidden parts. And opposite your 6th house of in Cancer, you know, Cancer rules your 6th house, which is all about the day-to-day, the mundane activities, your health, your heart, your work. Yeah, so I think that you're diving deep into some area of your life that maybe is a little bit more Capricorn in nature, which is so not like Aquarians do. Okay, so the overall energy for this full moon for Aquarius is, oh my gosh, that is so wild. I got the same one for Capricorn risings, and you are both ruled by Saturn. 11, by the book. Damn, interesting. So if you want to hear what I said about Capricorn rising, maybe it will resonate with you, but 11 to me is it is a master number in numerology. It's a portal from the past to the future. And elephants represent, in, you know, Hindu astrology, Ganesh, remover of obstacles. So whatever obstacles you might have been experiencing in the last year or couple of months, don't give up, because also 3 in numerology, which is the degree of this full moon, is all about creativity and creation, creating the reality that you want to live. Where your focus goes, energy flows. Try not to be in the, I guess, shadow aspects of Aquarius, which could be emotionally detached. Aquarians are, I mean, I should know, I have my moon in Aquarius. When I feel like life is getting stressful or someone is attacking me, I just I start shutting down emotionally, which could be good in certain situations. But when it comes to tapping into Cancer season, it's really important not to be overwhelmed by negative emotions, or, you know, you can't bypass, right? But to really, and what I said to Capricorn rising when I saw this by the book is to go back to, you know, I was explaining when I first started this spiritual journey and this esoteric, my interest in esoteric studies and mysticism and tarot and divination. I would do I am statements. I would say, I am prosperous, I am wealthy, I am abundant, I am love, I am worthy. And I think this is also a call for you to do the same thing. Meditate. If you haven't meditated or started a meditation practice, you should start doing things that will bring you back to that centeredness. So interesting. Yeah, because the 12th house is hidden realms, you know, it's like very auspicious house. It is the house of Pisces, so it's something is being illuminated there. I love it. Exactly. So I'm going to show you the cards in the order that I received them. 10 of Pentacles, creating a legacy. Creating, this is like, if you want to get your bag, this is the card that you want to get. Pentacles is all about like actual tangible earthly material resources, and the 10 of Pentacles is like the best card you can get in those regards. This talks about family legacy. Maybe you're thinking about working with your family or getting into a family business or creating a family legacy of your own, whatever that means to you. The 10th house is the house of Capricorn, so maybe you are really taking initiative into your career. I know not everybody's career driven, but whatever you want to leave your mark in this lifetime, in this realm. With the Ace of Pentacles, maybe you're getting an offering, a job offering, job offer, a new opportunity. Again, like I said, I feel like with this Mercury going direct and in your 12th house, maybe you're receiving some information about a job that maybe you thought was dead, or an opportunity that you thought wasn't there. It came to light. And then the last card. These are clarifying the general energy of this card. The 7 of Cups talks about many different opportunities, many different offers. So I really feel like this full moon in Capricorn is like showing you that when you can align, right? Align to your mind and your heart of like what you truly want to do, what you truly gives you the most fulfillment. Because Capricorn, again, is all about success, all about not giving up. You will find your legacy and all of these offers. This is so exciting. I have chills. This is so exciting. Yay! So if you are an Aquarius rising or an Aquarian sun who has been down on your luck the last couple of months, fret no more. There you go. Okay, if you are a Pisces rising, hello my beautiful Pisces. This is happening in your 11th house, the house of the collective, the house of friends and groups, wishes fulfilled, groups and communities. So if you're experiencing this full moon in your 11th house in Capricorn, maybe you have an opportunity to meet new friend groups, join new communities. I know that sounds like more new moon energy, like a beginning, but maybe you saw that some community or some groups that you were a part of, you no longer resonated with you anymore, you know? And you felt that in order for you to build some kind of legacy for yourself, or you wanted to create more of a foundation in your life or business or friend group, you knew you had to switch gears, shift groups, seek other communities. That maybe this is something that you put the intention towards 6 months ago or even 18 months ago, but definitely you're seeing something, and maybe you're even enjoying the fruits of meeting a new community, of being a part of different friends groups. I love the 11th house. I have a stellium in the 11th house. Okay, please, Spirit, let's get one energy for Pisces rising, full moon in Capricorn, and whoop, whoop, whoop. Did you see that? Wow. Okay. Wow, okay. So 2 came out for you. Number 40, and it breaks down to a 4, which is all about foundation, co-create, and building blocks. Number 28, which reduces to a 10. So that's what I was kind of picking up on. Like, maybe in the past you decided that you needed to be associated with a different group of people or groups to help you build a foundation, help you build something long lasting, right? Because Capricorn and Saturn are all about the long term. And you realize this about your friendship groups or the communities that you were a part of. Oh, my nose is itchy. And you decided this, and now you're seeing the rewards of it, and now you're co-creating with these people, with these friends, with this group. And maybe if you haven't found these soul groups yet, these soul friendships or communities, you will, because you've realized that maybe the ones that you have been associating with no longer serve your highest timeline. That's beautiful. So we're going to take 3 cards to clarify. Wow, okay, 2 came out right away. Yeah. Okay, so we have the 4 of Cups, the 5 of Cups, and then the Knight of Swords. So kind of like what I was picking up on with the 4 of Cups, maybe a lot of you have been a little bit contemplative about the people that you surround yourself with, because Jim Rohn's quote, which I live by, is you are the 5 people you surround yourself with, right? And these 3 cups are down here, which talks about friendship. The 3 of Cups is all about friendship, celebration, reunion. But this 1 cup is up here, and it's like, I don't feel fulfilled. Like there's something missing. There's something that I'm not getting. I'm not getting that cup, that fulfillment. And maybe some of you have felt like sad about that, a loss. Maybe you've been like, but I don't want to let go of those friendships, because I've had those friendships since I was like 6, you know, and if I let them go, then I have no friends. So I think that maybe some of you have gone through that, or are going through that right now. But let me tell you, when you have the courage to, you know, the Knight of Swords coming in, the truth, clarity. The Knight of Swords is the fastest moving knight. You understand the truth, and maybe this is something that you were realizing during Mercury retrograde, or even Saturn retrograde, because Saturn rules Capricorn, which is the ruler of your 11th house. You know, you were like, I don't know, I think my old friends just don't resonate with me. And there is a such thing as consciously uncoupling with friendships. We talk about that with couples, but we don't often talk about that with friendships that just have run its course. And I talked about this in one of my recent podcasts, where I actually, because I was going through this recently during Mercury and Saturn retrograde, it was really hard, because, you know, a lot of us tend to hold on to things that feel comfortable but are not necessarily the best for our growth of where we want to go. So a great thing to ask is maybe, you know, what kind of friendships really nourish me? What kind of friendship, again, Cancer is the opposite house, right? What kind of friendships do, like, I need? What do I need in a friendship? Learning love languages about friendships. Am I just giving? Am I just showing up? Am I just, you know, like going on this old paradigm of thinking with my old friendships, and it's kind of like not making me feel seen anymore? So I think this is beautiful. Because when you can have the courage to see the truth and let go of things that are just not giving you happiness anymore in the realm of friendships and groups, then you could really create magic with the new ones that come in. Again, co-create and building blocks. Building on a solid foundation for friendships, because again, Saturn is the structure, Capricorn is the structure, the bones. So now we are in Aries. My sun is in Aries. Hello, Aries. This is happening in your 10th house of career. So this is where Saturn in, well, Capricorn. This is where Capricorn naturally resides. So this is about your career and your legacy. So let's see what is the overall energy of this full moon. So maybe you've manifested something, maybe you have gotten an opportunity, or maybe you're realizing that you need a career shift. What is the overall energy for Aries, this full moon in Capricorn? Maybe you want to change careers. The Fates, I love it. Okay, number 17 reduces to an 8, which is the sign number of infinity, of luck, and the Fates. I love this because I believe we are all destined for something. And this full moon in Capricorn, maybe you realized the legacy that you want to leave, right? The long-term mark you want to have in your life, in your career, in your family, wherever it is, because not everybody is career oriented in the way of like how our, society dictates it. But this to me is saying that it's fated. This to me is saying that whatever you have your heart's desire on, your eyes set, your intention set, it's fated. You cannot fail. Do not give up. The full moon in Capricorn maybe has shown you, God, like, this has been great. Like, maybe the panorama, you even lost your job. Maybe the panorama showed you, like, this is not resonating for me anymore. Like, I just don't want to fucking go back to the office. Like, why are they making me do that? They're not paying me nearly enough. And maybe it showed you that, like, your life and your dreams are more worthy of what they have to offer you. And I resonate with this very deeply because in 2017, I quit my very Capricornian job in finance in New York. And because I felt like they did not value me, I felt like they did not, how could they? It runs on a very, again, Saturnian structure of hours worked equals dollars earned. Like, it's just, we are here in the late stages of capitalism here in 2021, and I just feel like the old structures and the old paradigm that they are continually to live by just does not work for us intuitive beings. So maybe you've had this realization. Spirit, please give me 3 cards for Aries rising in the 10th house. Everybody quits their job in their own time. I cannot tell you when to do that. People always ask me, like, when did you know when to quit your job? And for me, it was a mixture of just having enough to, like, having a plan, sort of a plan. And I don't mean plan like I had a job prepared, but I definitely saved money and I was like, I need to quit this job as soon as possible. I love this for you. Okay. First, we have the 5 of Pentacles, which talks about being left out in the cold, being kind of like lost, being scared, being like, oh, fuck, what the hell am I doing with my life? This is the energy of this card. You can see like the pentacles here in the door, and she's kind of like here looking to the side. And what I love about 5 cards in tarot, which can oftentimes be a little negative, is that 5 is the number of change. And what she doesn't realize is that there is a door here with pentacles on it. But she's looking to the side because she's focusing on something else. And what I keep telling every group is, where your focus goes, energy flows. Or I think I said it, where your attention goes, energy flows. I don't remember which version I said, but basically this maybe is like, you know, the first card I pull, I always try to think of it as the past energies, but I read everything intuitively. So I really feel like in the past, or maybe right now, you're like, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing with my career? What am I doing with my finances? What am I doing with my pentacles, right? But look, the Queen of Swords comes in, and I love the Queen of Swords energy because I relate the Queen of Swords to my moon and Venus in Aquarius, which is like, fuck, let me tell you what the truth is, girl. It's like bad bitch energy. I mean, look at this queen with the sword. She's like, I'm cutting through all the bullshit. I'm gonna lean into the truth of who I am. I'm a bad bitch. And when you want to like tune into that bad bitch energy, for me, I don't think Rihanna is a Capricorn, but I always think of her as Venus in Capricorn energy. And I listen to Rihanna songs when I'm in this Capricornian energy of like, I'm a badass bitch. And I'm cutting through all the bullshit of my negative belief systems, my negative programming, my scarcity mindset, my scarcity, ancestral, intergenerational trauma. And the truth of who I am is I'm a bad bitch. I can do whatever I want. I'm tapping into this Capricornian energy of success. And I'm going to co-create my reality with spirit. And then you got the Star, which is all about healing, inspiration. You can only see the star when it's dark. So if you're going through a dark period of your life right now, just know that there is still hope. There's still so much that you don't see because you're in this very limited perception of your reality. So the Star is ruled by Aquarian energy, which is all about future forward thinking. And what I said about the Queen of Swords is I think of the Queen of Swords as tapping into my own Venus in Aquarius, which is, you know, Aquarians are notorious for emotionally detaching, but only because we want to move forward. The past does not fucking matter anymore. The past is in the past. It's time to move forward, and not in a spiritually bypassing way. We just recognize the lessons that the past have shown us with the Five of Pentacles. And it's only when we are in this moment of our lives that we truly see the truth of who we are, our divinity. Right? Like when we can really surrender to our hearts being cracked open. It's only when we go through financial despair, or we go through a breakup, or an illness or a sickness. And I don't know why humans decide to do that, but it's only when we go through these harder times where we can see the truth of who we really are, which is that we are divine beings. And Aquarians, that is represented by the Star here, is all about the collective and humanity. And maybe you're building something that is for the greater good of humanity, for the greater collective. And maybe the thing that you're at now, you're like, this is not helping anybody. This is like totally like ruining the planet. This is not emotionally fulfilling. And just know that this is fated. This is written in the stars. Okay, I hope that gives you some inspiration, because you got this, Aries. If anybody has this, it's you, baby. I know, because my sun is in Aries. Okay, Taurus in your 9th house. 9th house is traditionally ruled by Sagittarius, which is all about higher learning, spirituality, traveling abroad. So maybe this full moon in Capricorn, you're like, maybe you're interested in spirituality, maybe you're it's so interesting, right? Because Capricorn is about like earthly things. It's like the earth element. And having this in your 9th house, being a Taurus rising, Taurus is ruled by Venus, which is all about like the material realm, about money, beauty. You're very like into aesthetics. And the 9th house being in Capricorn and your full moon in Capricorn, maybe you're seeing the material realm in a different way. Maybe you're having like an awakening moment of like, there is more to this reality, this realm, than just the physical realm. And when I had that awakening back in 2018, when I went to India to study Kundalini Yoga, I was like, oh my fucking God. You know, I was always into mysticism. I was always into mediumship and tarot and stuff like that, but it wasn't until I like studied it, when I went to India and studied it, I was like, oh my God. So what I'm saying for you Taurus risings is that maybe you're coming to that realization and you're like, I'm gonna go travel to India, or I don't know if you can at this time because of our panorama situation, but maybe you want to go to a different country to study something about that culture. Maybe you want to study spirituality. Maybe you want to go back to school and learn something more. Oh my God. Time to go. And it's 45, which reduces to a 9, which is the 9th house. I love when it's synchronistic like that. Yeah. Do I even have to go further? It's time to go. It's time to do something. It's time to learn something. It's time to learn something to broaden your horizons. And this is going to be related to something that you want to create for the long term. Maybe it's something that's related to your idea of success or achievement, because again, Capricorn is about, for me anyway, this is my interpretation, Capricorn is about achievement. It's about bringing a legacy, and maybe this higher knowledge, this learning. It's also the house of teaching. Maybe you want to teach something that you've learned with your wisdom. But either way, I feel like maybe you're being called to travel to learn something new. Like maybe where it is that you need to travel to or go to, maybe another level of consciousness. And I'm not advocating for, excuse me, one of the cards fell. I'm not advocating for psychedelic substances, but I know some areas of this world it's legal. Maybe you're just interested in different things. Interesting, because we have the Two of Pentacles, which is alignment. I will show you the cards in 1 second. Ooh, okay. Yes, this is exactly in alignment with the message. So we got the Two of Pentacles here, and whenever I get this card, I think about alignment. Alignment of the mind and the body, of the emotions, of the heart. And I know it's a pentacle, and pentacles are earth energies. They are the actual embodiment of this physical realm. But whenever I see this 8, I think of, again, the infinity sign, of luck, of being in alignment, and it's these two pentacles in alignment with one another, and really having balance in the material realm, but just alignment in general. And then you got the 8 of Swords, which is feeling trapped, feeling like you're bound by something, but it's just in your mind. The Swords is all about the mind, and you see her with her blindfold on. It's an entrapment by her own doing, by thinking that something's actually going on when it's just an illusion. Ace of Wands, having a new fresh beginning, having that spark. Wands represents fire energy. Swords represents mental energy, air, and Pentacles is all about the earth. I see no cups here. So I feel like with you, Taurus, in the 9th house, I feel like, yeah, like time to go. Maybe it's literally in order for you to feel aligned with like what you're trying to do in this physical realm and with your life, with your success, with your career, with your love life, with any aspect of your life, that what you have to do is to maybe travel, experience new things, to get outside your little box, to get this fresh new perspective, get this fresh energy, this spark, this passion for life again. I mean, and you know, we've been technically in a panorama for the last 18 months, as I was saying at the beginning of this video. So maybe this is like you felt trapped for 18 months. Maybe you couldn't move around as freely as you wanted to. Maybe you couldn't do the things that you wanted to because you were bound by the material realm. So either it's you can travel, you can go somewhere, or maybe it's you just need to try new things. Learn something new. Go somewhere new, even if it's in your town. Do new things to get those creative juices going again. And again, Capricorn energy is about not giving up. Don't give up. There's no reason for you to be in this state because it's only in your mind. It's just an illusion. And aces are such positive energy. Aces are a new beginning. Aces is that spark. Aces is like, woohoo, we're starting fresh. And you know, the full moon is a culmination of energy. So this is exciting. Time to go. Amazing. Okay, Gemini, this is happening in your 8th house. How are you doing? So you just had a new moon solar eclipse in your 1st house. How y'all feeling? So Cancer is in your opposite house of the 7th house. So Capricorn, this full moon in Capricorn is happening in your 8th house of transformation. The 8th house as well as the 12th house are like pretty auspicious. 8th house talks about the things about our life that we don't talk about, the taboo topics like money, sex, and death. It's the house of Scorpio, death, rebirth, transformation. It's other people's resources. It's the house of taxes, which I never understood that, by the way. But anyways, it is the house of intimacy, and having Capricorn in this house, wow, you must have had some kind of, first of all, I sympathize with you Geminis because you are my opposite sign. I'm a Sagittarius rising, so we have our house of the other opposites. So I know it's been pretty tough for you recently because Geminis are usually so, you know, easygoing, fun, like carefree. And it must have been a doozy to go through that solar new moon. And so the overall energy of this full moon for you is 25, which reduces to a 7, round and round. And whenever I see this card, I really look at this face in here and this like nautilus shell, which is like coiling in. And I really feel like this is perfect for your card because I think of karma, I think of divine timing, I think of the wheel in tarot. And 7 is the number of higher wisdom. So again, like I was saying, you've gone through pretty transformative 18 months with the eclipses happening in your 1st house, with your vitality, your life force energy might have been affected. And now this full moon is happening in your 8th house of transformation and intimacy. So maybe you're getting this like full awareness of the parts of your life that you need to transform, or maybe you have, I mean, you have been transforming them. And as I said that, it was 2, 2, 2, 2. Being more intimate with somebody. Because the 8th house is also about intimacy, and the opposite sign of you has been in Sagittarius. So your descendant has also been activated, the house of the other. Are you opening up to intimacy? That is what's coming through my mind. And you know, this is maybe a stereotype of Geminis, but I feel like it's kind of accurate because most of my ex-boyfriends have been Geminis, and a lot of my best friends are Geminis. But Geminis are, again, like an air sign. It's ruled by Mercury, so it's very busy energy, very busy bee, very communicative, very fun. Geminis are like the most fun, but also the most misunderstood archetypes. And I think the shadow side of Geminis can be not committing to someone or something, always having lots of choices, right? Because Gemini in the tarot is the lovers, and the lovers can mean lovers, but it also means making a decision, always having options. So Geminis, are you open to intimacy? Because intimacy is what truly gives us fulfillment in our lives. And Capricorn, again, is, if you watch the beginning of the video, I talked about long-term success, long-term, whatever area of this it's happening in, depending on where, you know, where this full moon is happening, is going to affect what area of your life are you, first of all, ending a cycle, because it is the full moon in Capricorn, but what have you learned in the last 18 months, last year, last 6 months of this Capricorn cycle? And make sure you watch the beginning of my video where I talk about December 26, 2019, when it was the new moon solar eclipse in Capricorn, which was happening in your house, in your 8th house of intimacy, transformation, rebirth. What have you learned in that time about intimacy? What have you learned about the parts of your life that are shadow realms, maybe? Your inner See, it's such an auspicious house. I'm just channeling the energies, but I can't necessarily like communicate them with my words. I have my Mercury in Pisces, so I can like download things, but for me to translate them, it's like really not as easy. I feel like it's a time for you to really open up your heart, open up your heart to the other in a way that maybe you have never done before. And I know you're like, Laura, this is the 8th house, but what does that have to do with this? But you just had these major full moon, new moon eclipses happening in your 1st and 7th house of you and the other. And the other doesn't have to mean a romantic partnership. It just means the other person. And everything in our lives are dictated by relationships. So the first card we have here is the Queen of Swords, which is so interesting. The same cards are being popped out for different groups. And I think it's like really the collective energies are coming out. The Queen of Swords is, personally, I feel like she's a fucking badass. Like, to me, she represents Aquarian energy, somebody who, and I could speak to that because I have my moon and Venus in Aquarius, and she does not take any bullshit. She cuts through all the shit, she cuts through what does not serve her, and just wants the truth of the matter, wants to move forward. And so maybe Geminis, You've seen the parts of your life that need to die away, right? You've seen the parts of your life that are no longer serving you. Maybe the way you've made money, maybe the way you've spent your money, maybe the way you've, earned your money. Because the 8th house is opposite your 2nd house of Cancer. Maybe it's time to rely on more help of others, because it's also other outer resources, other people's resources. The 8th house is also about mysticism, and this card, this Queen of Swords, doesn't necessarily represent mysticism, but again, what I said with the round and round card is seeing things come to fruition, seeing things come to a culmination of energy, things closing out, starting new, right? Death and rebirth, transformation. I mean, those words just keep popping up in my head. The Queen of Pentacles. I love the Queen of Pentacles. So this could be Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus energy. And you have 2 feminine archetypes here, 2 queens. And then you have the 9 of Pentacles, which is all about self-empowerment, independence, self-sufficiency. So this actually makes total sense to me because, as I said, this is like a culmination of energy. Are you open to intimacy? So Cancer rules your 2nd house, which is all about your value, all about your worth. That's where the sun is, and it's activating that house. When you can be fully worthy within yourself, it directly relates to how others view you and also your relationship to money. And I know people say this a lot, your self-worth equals your net worth, and this is too much to unpack in one video just on your rising sign. But the 2nd house is opposite the moon in Capricorn, which is all about success. It's all about being self-sufficient, climbing that mountain, right? Cutting through all the bullshit that does not serve you. That it's like finding your value, finding your worth, understanding that you are worthy. Because then you will achieve the 9 of Pentacles, which is the most beautiful, beautiful energy. I love this energy. And it was 5:55 as I said that. 5 being the number of change. So my camera battery died as I was filming because this is the longest video I've ever done. So I had to switch to my iPhone camera. So hopefully the quality is the same. And I just noticed that you could see more of the table in this version. So anyway, I left off on Gemini and I was getting really riled up right there with Gemini. But basically, what the message that's coming through for you, Gemini risings, is that true intimacy is when you are fully embodied in your connection to your self-worth, how you feel abundant in your body, and how you can receive from other people, the 8th house, other people's resources, and being well resourced in general. Cutting to the truth of who you are, this abundant being. I love seeing 2 queens, 2 feminine energies with the 9 of Pentacles, because the moon is a feminine luminary. It's all about receiving. It's all about being very receptive. So whatever you're doing, Gemini risings, keep going. Make sure you're in the flow, because again, with round and round, I feel like this was divinely timed. All of the struggles, all of the uncovering of your ego, all of the trials and tribulations you've gone through with this nodal axis, the North Node being in Gemini. It's like you've maybe discovered parts of yourself that you hadn't discovered before. With Mercury going direct finally in Gemini, your ruler is Mercury. So maybe during Mercury retrograde, you had an awakening, you had an epiphany, you had an aha moment about yourself. Some new information came through, and as it's going through its shadow phase until the first week of July, maybe you're reviewing a lot of the things that you've learned and integrating a lot of the lessons that you learned. Because again, like I said, one of the shadow aspects of Gemini is non-committing, of being too flighty, of not going deep within an issue, but just kind of grazing the surface level. Maybe this past eclipse season and Mercury being in Gemini in retrograde in your sign was, you know, a bit of an awakening for you. I love my Geminis, by the way. I just wanted to clear the air. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so now we're in Cancer. Hello to my beautiful Cancers. This is happening in your 7th house. So the 7th house being your opposite sign of Capricorn. So just out of curiosity, how many of you resonate with Capricorn energy or not? Because depending on your past relationships, have you been attracting Capricorns or the energy of Capricorn? So this full moon in Capricorn in your 7th house of the other, maybe you've had you know, like an epiphany, or, and I say epiphany because full moons are all about having a full culmination of something, seeing something very clearly, because the two luminaries are illuminated, so you see something very clearly. And happening in your 7th house is of the other. So it could be a business partner, it could be a love interest, somebody that you spend one-on-one time with. Are you having a conflict with somebody? Because Capricornian energy is your opposite. Cancers are very, you know, like, and again, like, these are all very stereotypical archetypes. If you are a rising sign in Cancer, you have other energies that really culminate into who you are as a being. But Cancers tend to be associated with being emotional, being moody, being crabby. But Cancers are also incredibly intuitive because you are ruled by the moon, and the moon is receptive energy. So that is the complete opposite of Capricorn, which depends on hard work, depends on persevering, you know, the little goat that climbs the mountain of the material realm. So have you been triggered by people recently? Because, you know, full moons can be very emotional times. Whoa, did you see that pop out? Okay, so the number on this one is 39, which reduces to a 12, which reduces to a 3, which is creative energy, which is the degree point of this Capricorn full moon. And it says new life. Oh, I love that. Oh, I love seeing this card. Well, first of all, let me just say, if you're a Cancer rising or Cancer sun, this is your season. So, hello, congratulations. So maybe you have been feeling a little bit more vitality because the sun is moving through your 1st house of self. The 1st house is all about your body, your self-image, your life force energy. So you're having a lot more energy. So maybe you are really experiencing this like new life, you know? I would say, you know, Cancer rules the 4th house if you watched the beginning of my video, which is all about the home and nurturing. And during Cancer season, most people feel like, which is interesting because Cancer season starts the summer solstice, which is the summer season, right? So you would think that it was a lot of yang energy, like, let's go out, let's go have fun. But Cancer season is all about being inward and paying attention to our emotional body, which is kind of the opposite of what we would think about summer. But this being in your 7th house, maybe you're calling in a new relationship, or you're seeing, you know, the abundance of attention, or maybe you're receiving a lot of attention from the other. Capricorn energy is really, again, like long-term goals, long-term successes, long-term efforts, diligence. Have you been manifesting somebody? Have you been wanting to manifest somebody? Just think back to December 26, 2019. And maybe the intentions that you set at that time, if you can remember, or even the last year during the panorama, like what things did you learn about this area of your life, the 7th house of partnerships? What kind of partnerships are you calling in, or that you want to release? Because the full moon is also about release. You see something very clearly, maybe. But the 3 is creative energy again. So like maybe you're also getting in a spark of, you know, new life into your current partnerships. And again, partnerships is not just romantic. See, the cards do not lie. So these are the clarifying cards that I picked. The 6 of Swords is all about moving forward. And in the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, you see a picture of a man in a boat, rowing a figure in the boat from one area to another. And it's traveling over water, which is perfect for Cancer season. So this is all about moving forward, forward movement. And then you got the Magician, which is all about manifesting with what you have. So the Magician is ruled by Mercury, which Mercury in Gemini just went direct. So, yeah, are you trying to move forward, move away from manifesting new love? The Magician works with all of the elements. So the Pentacle, the Wand, the Sword, the Cup. And it uses whatever it has as its own energetic body, getting downloads from Spirit. And knows that it can get what it needs from what he or she has, or they have. Then our last card is the Queen of Wands. I love this energy. And I love how a lot of the other rising signs got a lot of feminine energy. A lot of the queens came out because, again, moons are all about the receptive energy, the feminine principle, the yin principle of receiving. I fucking love the Queen of Wands because the Queen of Wands is my energy, which is fire signs, Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. Cancer, if you are, you know, we have Cancer in every part of our chart, but if you are Cancer rising, the moon rules your chart. So your emotional body changes every 2 days. And people might think of you as a very moody person, a very mercurial person, very into the feels kind of person. So maybe during this full moon in Capricorn in your 7th house, you're being activated to actually show up in a different way. Show up as this fiery siren that you are, or king or queen or whoever, whatever gender you identify with. But again, moving from what you knew, I just get this sense that you just like had some kind of epiphany, right? And you were like, this does not no longer, this doesn't serve me anymore. You just like had enough. You're like, fuck this, you know? And then you're like, I'm going to manifest something that actually aligns with my energy, that the Queen of Wands that I am. The Queen of Wands is fiery. She's passionate. And use these terms as it fits to your gender. I'm just channeling energy, so the feminine principle, but if you're a man or if you are they, align it to how you identify yourself, because on my channel, in my communities, all bodies are welcome. So I really feel like during this full moon, and it's so interesting because the Capricorn energy, I don't necessarily feel like is a fiery energy. It's more of like, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep climbing this mountain. I'm going to keep doing what needs to be done. I'm not going to lose hope. But I feel like for you, you're like, I'm fucking stepping in. I'm stepping into my power. I know I could manifest whatever the fuck I want. And I'm just moving forward. And I love this energy for you, Cancer risings. And this could be in the realm, just in general, your life, because Cancer is in your first house. But in regards to this full moon in Capricorn, maybe you're having a new life in terms of relationships, calling in the one, calling in that Capricornian energy, you know? This is exciting. Yay! Okay, now we are at Leo, fellow fire sign of mine. Hello, this is happening in your 6th house. The 6th house, to us fire signs, might be the most boring house in astrology. It is the most mundane. It is the mundane house. It is ruled by Virgo. It's your everyday, daily habits, routines, and health. Not just your body health, but your mental health, work, could be pets. Ooh, too many cards. So the full moon in Capricorn in your 6th house, maybe you you are realizing that you need to change certain daily habits or health habits in order for you to achieve your success in work. Leos, to me, I feel like don't need that much help. Leos have so much energy, and you have Mars transiting your 1st house right now, so you have a lot of action, you have a lot of forward movement, you have a lot of energy. And after Cancer season is Leo season, where the sun is in its domicile in Leo. So I feel like from Cancer season to Leo season, with also Mars and Venus being in your 1st house, you're just gonna have so much fucking good energy. It's like not even funny. So I feel like for you, like this full moon in Capricorn in your 6th house is just really refining your daily habits. Don't forget about taking care of your body, your mental health, your daily activities to help support what it is that you want to do. Because Leos, again, have a lot of fiery energy, are not afraid to shine. I know like a lot of people are like Leos, but Leos be like, look at me, beautiful lions. I noticed that a lot of Leo risings have a lot of, my sister said mainly hair, because a lot of Leo risings have, I can't describe it, just like big hair, just a big presence, like a big aura. And so I feel like in order to support all this activation, you know, Mars, Venus, and then the sun going into your 1st house of self, of I am, to support that, it's good to not forget about your daily activities, daily habits. And maybe you're having a realization about that in this full moon of like, okay, in order for me to create success in my work, in my life, in order for me to do the things that I want to do, these are the things that are being illuminated. I know it's kind of like a mundane house, but it's very important nonetheless. And full moons are all about manifestation, about receiving. It's very feminine, receptive time. It could be very tense emotionally, but I feel like being a Leo, Leos are ruled by the heart. So you always know what drives your soul, what drives your heart. Okay, so the overall energy we got for you is the here and now. 32, which reduces to a 5. And we have this woman, lady, girl sitting on this egg. And for me, egg always represents rebirth, a birth, creation, here and now. I think this is perfect actually for the 6th house, because although the 6th house is not exciting at all, it's just like what you have to do to sustain your everyday life, the things that you need to do to get your message out there. And I'm totally stereotyping on Leos, but I just feel like every Leo that I've ever met, especially Leo risings, have something to say. They want to be seen. They want to show up and, you know, share their love for what they're doing with the world. But I think during this full moon in Capricorn portal that we're heading into, or that you're in, depending on when you watch this, is to be in the present moment. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, which I mentioned in the beginning of the video, which is the past. Uranus, which we're having a square from Saturn and Uranus, is the future. But can you be still in the here and now? Because that is where we co-create. And I feel like Leos are really good at this, because Leos are really dropped into the heart, the more activated, high vibrational Leos. Right? And I think with all of this Mars activity in your 1st house, you can get a little ahead of yourself maybe. Maybe you're really excited about all the cool things happening in your life. Sorry, my the binaural beats just stopped working for some reason. Interesting. Can you drop in to your heart space? Be in the present moment. Ask yourself, what does my heart truly desire? And are the daily activities that I'm currently engaged in, my mental health, my physical health, my exercise routine, my daily work habits, is that supporting my dream? Is that supporting my overall long-term mission, goal, success? I've pulled this card for so many groups, and I feel like it's a very telling of the collective energy, this 2 of Pentacles. When you are in alignment with your head and your heart, anything is possible when you can drop into the here and now. Not being in the past, not being in the future, but just in the here and now, and having radical acceptance of the here and now. And no matter how mundane your life might be, just aligning your thoughts to your heart space, your feelings, your emotions, and the actions will almost present themselves. But I mean, again, Leo risings, Leo in general, are not shy of action, at least the ones that I know. So when you can do that and drop into your heart space, the Queen of Cups, collectively, we are all tapping into our feminine energies. These queens have been coming out all throughout this reading. The Queen of Cups is receptive, intuitive, psychic. It's almost like the High Priestess energy in the Major Arcana. Very intuitive. And I kind of relate the Queen of Cups to Cancer energy, Scorpio, Pisces, and the moon. So when you can align your heart and your head and what you truly want, because Leo energy is connected to the heart space of what truly activates your heart space, you can tap into all of this receptive energy, spiritual energy, connecting to the outer realms. Because I know that the 6th house is opposite the 12th house, which is your Cancer house of spirituality. Capricorn is your mundane house, right? But like, we're in Cancer season, so your 12th house is also being activated. So when you can be in the here and now and take care of business in your you know, everyday lives, it gives you more space to connect to your spirituality, to the 12th house, to your intuition. And so maybe during this Capricorn full moon, you are aligning that. You are seeing that, okay, yeah, like this is really important. I need to do this. I need to stay in the present moment. I need to focus my attention where it needs to be focused on for the long term. And finally, we have the 5 of Swords, which again, we have 32, which reduces to a 5. The 5 of Swords talks about conflict in a way of like mental conflict, mental like anxieties. But I always see the 5s, so many 5s have come out during this reading as well, as change. Again, like something about your thinking about the past, something about you thinking too much in the future. When you think too much in the past, you become depressed because you're like thinking back, dwelling back on what you didn't do or what you don't have. When you think too much in the future, it's like you feel anxiety because you can't control what has not happened yet. So when you can stay in the present moment, when you can truly align your thoughts and your feelings in the present moment, you'll be able to tap into a higher knowledge, your inner wisdom, to help you gain more long-term success, Capricorn, right? But I mean, once you get into Leo season, that's your season. That's like all bets are off. So I think this is the month to do a little house cleaning on your thoughts, on your mental health, on your physical body, on your day-to-day routines, to listen to your intuition, and to stop focusing on all the things that didn't happen or are not happening. Thank you, Leos. Okay, Virgo. So Virgo, the full moon in Capricorn is happening in your 5th house. So I've been doing this for almost 2 hours, so I'm starting to get a little loopy. So don't mind me. So the 5th house. I love the 5th house. The 5th house is all about joy, fun, playfulness, the inner child, children, having fun again. Ooh, I love it. And you know, Virgos, I have a lot of Virgos in my life. First of all, my sister's a Virgo sun. Virgos are known to be very much like Capricorn. I find their energies to be very similar because Virgos are, you know, very detail oriented. They're very service oriented. They're very hardworking. They're very like, they're just very on top of their shit, you know? And being in your 5th house, having Capricorn in your 5th house, wow. I mean, if there's not more of a Virgo thing than that, then, then I don't know what is. So having Capricorn in your 5th house is so interesting because if you saw the beginning of this video, Capricorn is all about, you know, long-term success. It's all about not giving up. It's, you know, Capricorn rules our 10th house of career. It talks about, you know, one of the archetypes of Capricorn is working hard, being diligent. I think of it as getting what you want, you know, getting after what you want. That's the kind of Capricorn energy that I like to tap into. And being in your 5th house and the full moon being in your 5th house in Capricorn, maybe you're getting after what you want in terms of play. Yes. Maybe you're finally like, you know, I'm a Virgo, I'm an earth sign, I take my life way too seriously. I'm always freaking diligent, I'm always on time. Capricorn being in your 5th house, it's like maybe you're realizing you need to have more space for fun and joy and playing with your inner child, which goes perfectly with the current energy. So for you, the overall energy is number 36, which reduces to a 9. Come to the edge. Dear Virgos, can you have more fun? Can you let go a little bit? Because when you can do that, it will lead to your long-term success, your long-term, and whatever success means to you. And maybe that is something that you can ask yourself. What is your idea of success? What is the legacy that you want to leave into this planet? Because clearly it's in your 5th house of fun, entertainment, joyfulness, children, inner child. So maybe not everybody wants children, but if you did, are you coming to that realization? Or maybe are you having some inner child healing that you want to do? Because Capricorn, again, is the past. Is there something from the past of your childhood that you are coming to terms with now that you want to release? Because you're becoming a parent, or because you're considering becoming a parent, come to the edge. Come to the edge of your comfort zone. Maybe the best way to honor your inner child is to have fun. Ask yourself, what did you do as a child? What were the fun things that you used to do? Did you used to play outside? Did you like to play games? Did you play with lightning bugs like I did? Tap into your inner child, because this is a beautiful way to integrate this full moon in Capricorn energy in your 5th house and really come to the edge, like to the point where you feel uncomfortable about it, because it'll be so healing for you. Have fun. And I say this to my Virgo sister all the time, which is interesting because she's a Virgo sun, Capricorn rising. Like, you need to have fun now, because you cannot wait. Because Capricorn also is the energy of like delayed gratification. And I respect that, because I'm not like that at all. I am the most like, my sister and I were making tie-dyed shirts yesterday, and she's, like I said, a Virgo sun, Capricorn rising. So she's sitting there reading all the instructions, making sure that everything was set right. And I was already done tie-dyeing. I was like, I'm just going to experiment. I'm just going to do the damn thing, you know, because who cares about instructions? But my sister was like, if you weren't a little bit more patient, then you would have seen the techniques of how to do certain designs. And then today we revealed the designs, and hers were way cooler because she actually read the instructions. Now, I'm not saying to be either or, I'm just saying to integrate the two. I think that having Virgo energy and your Capricorn being in this 5th house, it's like you already know how to do things by the book. You already know how to do things in a very detailed fashion. You know how to almost like have fun in a measured way. Like, that's how I would describe Capricorn in your 5th house. But can you maybe for just like a week or during this full moon, like come to the edge of your comfort zone and like maybe not read the directions, maybe just experiment, maybe just make the damn t-shirt without having to like think about, is this going to be okay, is this right, you know? Because I feel like when you do that, you open yourself up to like just a different energy. I can't explain it. When you do something new beyond what you know, beyond your comfort zone, because Capricorn is also restriction, when you can just be more open, it opens you up to a whole new world of just joy. And when we are living in our joy, we are literally resonating that frequency out. So the cards I pulled here is actually very fitting for a Virgo rising with Capricorn full moon. So the Judgment card talks about an awakening, like a spiritual understanding. So Virgo is, you know, Virgo's opposite sign is Pisces. So in order for Virgo to be truly integrated in this physical realm, in this physical reality, it has to integrate a lot of Piscean energy, which is all about spirituality and integrating that energy into its understanding of this world. And so even maybe like ask yourself from December 26, 2019, and this area of your life, the fifth house, and certain things you've realized, maybe in a spiritual way, maybe in a different way. An awakening could mean something different for everybody. It doesn't have to be spiritual. But what things gave you joy? What did not? You were shown something, you were awakened to something in this area of your life, and maybe even just your entire life in general, and activating more play, more joy, more fun into your life. The Two of Swords talks about blocked vision. So you just had your ruler Mercury in retrograde in Gemini, but you're a co-ruler of Mercury. So maybe like things were a little foggy recently, like you were not really clear about your life, or maybe just fifth house ideas in general. But again, when you have fun, when you lean into things that you've never done before, because Virgos and Capricorns are also not known to try new things. They're not like, they tend to lean on the things that they know that they're going to be successful with, and that they know that they just know, right? So I think like the best piece of advice I can give you is, in order for you to open up your awareness of things that you think are blocked in your own perception, because this is all perception, because it's swords, you have to do things differently. You have to look at things and go to the edge of your comfort zone, because from that you enter a portal. The Four of Wands to me is the 1111 card. It's a portal. The traditional Rider-Waite tarot has these two like archways on either side, and there's like people in the middle of this archway. And I really believe a portal is when you're at one part of your life and you're entering another portal. You're entering a portal into another reality that you want to experience. So Virgos, and you know, being so magnificent, I want to embody more Virgo energy in my life, even though some people they're like, you have Virgo in your chart. I have my midheaven in Virgo, which explains my type A-ness. I would say for this full moon in Capricorn, release the things that are restricting you in your mind, in your perception. Try different things, come to the edge of your comfort zone, and have fun. I mean, if 2020 taught you anything, it's that you cannot take life for granted. Tomorrow is not promised. So really make a list of all the things you've ever wanted to do. They could be fifth house activities like play, entertainment, fun. Maybe you want to get into the realm of acting or singing. Really do it, because this is your time. Okay, next is Libra. Oh my goodness. Okay. I've been doing this for a minute, so. But I'm so glad you're here, Libra. Libra risings. This is happening in your fourth house. The full moon in Capricorn is happening in your fourth house of home, your roots, your ancestry, nurturing. So we're going to ask for Libra rising, your overall energy for this full moon in Capricorn. If you did not watch the beginning of this video, you might want to understand the energies you are dealing with. But your fourth house is really your roots. Your stability, the way you nurture yourself, your home. So the full moon in Capricorn is asking you to release any restrictions you've had around this area of your life, your roots, your ancestry. Maybe you're doing ancestral healing, because Capricorn is also about the old. It's about the structures of our lives. Ooh, do I want this? Ah, okay. One more, Spirit. And you know, the full moon is a full culmination of energy. So look back at December 26, 2019. What have you learned about your fourth house? What have you learned about your home, your body, but your physical home? Did you move? Do you want to move? Capricorn, again, is a structure, and I don't know anything more structural than your home. Do you feel safe in your home? Do you feel safe in your body? Do you connect with your ancestors? Do you know your ancestors? Tapping into your roots and what makes you stable, like real stability. This is so beautiful, Libra rising. First of all, Libra risings, you are ruled by Venus. So I feel like aesthetically, the home needs to be very pleasing for you. It needs to be beautiful. I mean, everything in your life has to be beautiful. You're just into aesthetics. But also, because Libra rules relationships and your fourth house of Capricorn, are you looking at the structures of your relationships, your relationships in your home, maybe your mother relationship or the mother figure in your life? Have you conveyed your needs? So the overall energy of your full moon in Capricorn is 27, which reduces to a 9, exchanging gifts, which I find so interesting because so many of the groups have had a 9, which is higher wisdom. If you look at the number 9, the top of it is fat. So it's like you've come to this whole cycle, learning lessons, learning about all the trials and tribulations and the good and the bad and the beautiful and the ugly. And you've come with this full spectrum of wisdom and knowledge. And so again, think back to December 26, 2019. What have you learned about, you know, all about your home? And with this exchanging gifts, for me, again, it's all about, I don't know, this card reminds me so much of Libra with her fairy wings, the pink. And cats could be an important animal totem for you. Cats are very intuitive. Cats are very solitary, independent creatures. So I'm almost thinking like with this exchanging gifts, again, are you receiving in a way that's nurturing to you throughout your relationships? Is your home, your physical body, and your actual home giving to you in a way that is fulfilling and is nurturing to you? Capricorn is all about like the long term. So you've been contemplating on this area of your life for the last 18 months, especially during 2020 when all of these planets were breaking down the structures of your home, of your roots, of your ancestry. Again, like, have you been doing ancestral healing? Have you been tapping into where your ancestors are from, what your ancestors have experienced, and how that relates to you and your identity? So we have the 7 of Pentacles, which talks about, okay, like you've planted some seeds, you're nurturing your seeds, you're growing them, they're about to harvest. And I love that this looks like a crescent moon. So this full moon in Capricorn is like very important, I feel, for you, Libra risings. Because the 4th house is ruled by Cancer, and we're in Cancer season right now. And you have Capricorn in your 4th house, which means Cancer's in your 10th house. So your 10th house being activated by Cancer season, you're reflecting back on how your actual being, your sense of security, your sense of who you are as a person is so reflective of how much you give and you receive, and how you're being nurtured. Again, with the 7 of Pentacles, for the long-term success of your career. I know that was very fragmented, but I'm just channeling. How you give to your emotional body, how you give to your physical body, your physical emotional body, and how you nurture yourself is your I just know that Libra risings have beautiful homes. I just know that you're into aesthetics, you're into textures, and that is going to be so important for you in your career, since your Cancer house of the 10th house is being activated, your career, right? It's shining. So the more you can give yourself and pour into yourself for the long-term fruition of your goals is going to be very fruitful for you. And I know this because you got Strength, the Leo card, and Temperance, which talks about patience. All about like higher knowledge, understanding that whatever trials and tribulations you went through during 2020, because I have a feeling that some of you did, just because the 4th house is a pretty intense house to have all of your structures kind of crumble away. You know, maybe you had to move homes, maybe you had to move around a lot. Maybe your sense of security and your stability was rocked in 2020. So this full moon in Capricorn is a culmination of all of that, giving you strength, knowing that when all of the structures of anything that crumble away, what you find is that you are actually a lot stronger than you thought you were. And that when you realize that the only thing that you have that's real, that's not in this illusion of this 3D reality, is yourself and your sense of security within, that's how you come to this higher understanding. The Temperance is Sagittarius, higher understanding of who you truly are, of what's truly meant for you. This is so beautiful. Yeah. You planted some seeds and now they're coming into fruition. And I'm talking like you planted this a long time ago. This could have been back in 2019. And now you're gonna reap the rewards with this exchanging gifts. And look, you have 2 cats. Yes. And what I know about cats, I've never had a cat before, is that they're the only animals that have been domesticated. Like, they're completely fine out in the wild on their own. And in my neighborhood, there's like this pack of just wild cats that somebody just couldn't take care of anymore, and then just like let them free. So we have like 20 cats that just roam around our neighborhood. So they're wild, but they're domesticated as well. Like, they can live with humans, they can chill with humans, but they're so independent. So I feel like whatever you have gone through, and sorry I'm making this super long for Libra risings, but I feel like the 4th house is, you know, it's a pretty like emotional part of our chart. Whatever you've gone through in 2020 required a lot of strength, required a lot of patience, but you're persevering. You've persevered with patience and strength. And now you're going to reap those rewards directly in the area of your life where you want those rewards. I love it. Yes. So now we're on Scorpio risings, the third house. Capricorn in the third house. The third house is our inner, like, the 11th house is like the bigger community, right? Like the collective. The third house is our like neighborhood, our community that we know, possibly that we grew up with. It could also be siblings, social media. It could be short distance travel, the mind. So please, Spirit, what is Scorpio rising's general theme for this Capricorn full moon? So Capricorn in the third house. Ooh. Have you been interested in upping your social media game, or communicating something with your community? For the long-term success. Okay, amazing. Let me explain. Okay, so since December 26th of 2019, if you didn't watch the beginning of this video, I highly recommend that you do. This part of your life has gone through a major like restructuring. So if you are Scorpio rising, you are automatically like naturally a magnetic person. Your third house being in Capricorn is so the structures of your community and maybe relationships with your siblings, your mind, have come into major restructuring in 2020, specifically in the last 18 months. And so this full moon in Capricorn is a culmination of all that energy. In this particular area of your life, maybe you realize that certain communities that you were associated with, you wanted to release because they were no longer serving you. Maybe a sibling relationship just was not giving you in the way that you needed. Talking about family is hard because like I come from a Korean background, and like in Korean culture, like family is everything. No matter how shitty the family member is, it's like family over everything. And as an American, I don't necessarily agree with that. I feel like if you have a family member who's negative or toxic, then why would I want to be around that person? It doesn't matter for me. I believe in chosen family in the way of friendships, and also soul family from past lifetimes. But family can be hard, especially siblings. So this also deals with the mind though. So maybe you've realized that certain thought patterns, certain ways of thinking was not in alignment with your higher purpose. So actually what I find interesting is the overall energy I picked for you was the soulmate card. And 41 reduces to a 5. And there have been so many 5 and 9 energies in numerology. 5 is the energy of change, of revolution. And I love that they're two penguins. One holds the key to the other one's heart. Now, this can literally mean soulmates for you. Like you find your soulmate maybe through social media, maybe through a dating app, because the third house is about social media. But I really see this as like you found the key to your own heart. Like you've merged with your own self. You've learned certain things that are not serving you. in the ways of your mind, in the ways of your community, of the ways that the people around you, right? Like your immediate surroundings was just not serving you in whatever way. Because I'm reading for collective energy, so just take what resonates. But you finally found the key to what sets your soul on fire and what works for you. But again, this could actually mean soulmates. Like you might actually meet your soulmate through your community or through a sibling or through social media on this Capricorn full moon. And please let me know if you do, Scorpios. That's super exciting. So to clarify this, we have the Nine of Wands, which is all about persevering. It's all about not giving up, which is the Capricorn energy. I'm surprised this card did not come up more times during this reading. As I've said, Capricorn is, the archetype of it is the sea goat. The sea goat climbs the mountain and does not give up no matter what terrain. And collectively, we've all been dealing with this Capricornian energy throughout the last 18 months in one area of your life. So for you, it could have been a lot of different areas of your life, but specifically for you, it was the third house. The Ten of Swords talks about like being stabbed in the back, being like, yeah, stabbed in the back, like, oh, fuck me, you know, having anxiety, having just all this like mental pressure of whatever has been going on in your life. And these two cards together is like you're finishing a cycle, you're finishing a chapter of your life where you felt like you had to defend a lot. And maybe this also means that your community that you were a part of, I said this in the beginning, the community that you were a part of, or your siblings or the people around you didn't get you. Because maybe in the last 18 months, you were like, I changed my mind about a lot of things. I went from eating meat to being vegan, or I went from being vegan to eating meat, or I was a Democrat, now I'm a Republican, or I'm a Republican, now I'm a Democrat, or I was anti-vax and now I am vax, or vice versa. I was anti-mask and now I am pro-mask, you know, like the mind, right? And again, Capricorn is all about our structures and old ways of thinking. And in some regards with the Devil card, it's like negative thinking. Like old stuff from the past comes up. So maybe you've had tumultuous conversations with your community or siblings, or just in your own mind. Maybe you were stabbed in the back by somebody that you were really close with, and you've kind of had to persevere, feeling a little alone. But now with this culmination of this energy of Capricorn, justice, Libra energy, balance, coming into balance with this soulmate energy is so beautiful. This duality of merging with yourself, knowing what's important to you, knowing who you are. And again, maybe it could be Libra is the sign of relationships. So maybe Scorpio risings are meeting their person. Who knows? I think it's super exciting. Okay, thank you so much, Scorpio risings. And now, last but not least, Sagittarius risings, my fellow Saggy risings. We are finally here. Whew, what a journey it's been. I decided to test this out as my first like full moon energy read for all the rising signs, and reading and divining tarot cards, and here I am. Always trying new things, why not? So Saggy risings, my fellow Saggy risings, how are y'all doing? You have a special place in my heart because I am a Sag rising, and this full moon in Capricorn is happening in our second house. And if you're a fellow Saggy rising like me, you know we've had some pretty tumultuous years in our house of finances. I'm not gonna lie, it's been rough. And my South Node is in Capricorn in my second house, so it was like equally as rough. So the second house, what can we talk about? The second house, it's our house of self-worth, our self-value, how we see ourselves. It's the house of Taurus, so money, finances, our inner resources, and just how we feel secure and resourced in general, right? And a lot of this is not even our fault. It's just again, Capricorn, right? The systems that we live in and how our system and our collective, us included, right? We've all agreed to the system of money. We've all agreed to these systems, but now with this full moon in Capricorn, it's like they don't work for us anymore. So how can we release the ideas that have blocked us, have contracted us into our full self-worth, our full value, and our limiting beliefs around money and possibly scarcity? So what is the overall energy of this full moon in Capricorn for Saggy risings? And it's a beautiful opportunity to release, two. I think you and another sign were the only ones who got two. Okay, amazing. Number 3, Between Worlds, and 45, Time to Go, which reduces to a 9. And another group got Time to Go, and I've been saying this to a lot of the groups that in numerology, 5s and 9s have been coming up a lot. So I want to talk about the in-between worlds for a moment, because it's the number 3, which is the number of creativity, of creation, of bringing into the material realm all the inspirations and intentions that we have created for ourselves. And that is the degree of this full moon. And what I see here with In-Between Worlds is that if you are a Saggy rising just like myself, I feel like we've been here, right? Like just dark, dismal. We've just gone through eclipse season. We just had a full moon eclipse in our first house. For the last, I would say, year and a half, we've had these like unveiling of the illusion of our ego, this disillusion of the ego in our first house, right? These eclipses. And then with Pluto transiting in Capricorn, our second house, and now all of these activations in Capricorn since 2019, if you are a Saggy rising with me, maybe you've lost a lot of money, or maybe money in general has been in question. How you've made money, what you think about money, your security, your value, your self-worth. My self-worth was like this last year. I was like, if I'm not making money in the Capricornian way, so I used to work in finance, and I live in New York, so I was trained to believe and programmed to believe hours worked equals dollars earned. Working like a Capricorn is working really hard. And I don't know if you've ever heard this mantra growing up, but you have to work hard to achieve your dreams. You have to work hard to find value or worth in this world. And I think what we're all realizing as Saggy risings, or if you're another rising sign, if you've chosen to watch all of them, what we're realizing collectively is, nah, bruh, like, that's a lie. These Capricornian ways of making money is a lie. We have to look to the 8th house in Cancer. What is truly fulfilling? What is truly emotionally like activating our souls and lighting us up? Possibly mysticism, possibly Cancerian topics like the feminine, like the moon, like rituals. I know, like, when I quit my Capricornian job in finance and I started on my spiritual journey, I started doing full moon circles, and I started leading all, different kinds of people from all over the world in rituals. So that's a very 8th house topic. And so in order for you to go through this time, maybe tap into the more mystic areas, the occult, the moon, rituals, to help you move through this time, because I feel like we're realizing that hey, these old paradigms are not working for us and we're now seeing in color, right? And like Plutonian energy of really understanding the shadow realms of our society and how it views money and work are coming to the light, and we're realizing we don't have to be a part of that. We don't have to be a part of that narrative. We have to transform that into our own inner power, our own inner worth, which is a second house. Time to go, exactly. It's time to move from this to this. It's time to see the truth of who you are and the value of who you are, which is beyond material, monetary numbers. Time to go. Time to let the past be in the past. Notice how she's running towards the door and her back is, this is the past, this is the future. She's running towards the future. So I feel like I have a soft spot for Sagittarius risings because I am one. So I feel like this full moon in Capricorn is like a culmination of all the shitty the shitty transits that we've been experiencing the last, like, I don't know, maybe even longer than 18 months. I feel like it's been a really long time for me. Ooh, okay, so 4 cards came out for us, and I'm gonna keep that. The other groups got 3, but I have a soft spot for you. So, yes. Okay, so I want to explain these cards because these 3 cards are seen as very negative. But again, it makes sense from where we were collectively as Sagittarius risings. So again, we are going from in between worlds. We're going from this gray, like very, looks kind of like Handmaid's Tale, like very dystopian, like blah. Is there any hope? Is there any hope in our futures? To this pink flamingo with the crown. And this flamingo is wearing a crown, which is so beautiful, right? This is where we were. Anxiety, worries, not being able to sleep, maybe being afraid of money and where's the money gonna come? Maybe we lost a lot of money, maybe we're in debt, right? Because, I mean, this is like intense energies transiting our second house. Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter, we're all transiting that house in 2020. And now we still have Pluto and Capricorn retrograde in our second house, which, you know, is a good time for contemplation. And this full moon in Capricorn is happening at 3 degrees. The 5 of Pentacles talks about being left out in the cold. Another group got this. And she's looking sideways. But if she was looking forward, she would see that the 5 of Pentacles were right in front of her at this doorway again. With the same doorway, I noticed, to the future. If she just took this door opening. So the five again, I just said it, a lot of numerology, 3s, 5s, and 9s are coming up because 9 is like from 1 to 9 is the journey, right? It's like you've gained a lot of wisdom and experience through all of these obstacles, a lot of these challenges. And what she doesn't notice is that the pentacles are staring right in front of her, and 5 is the energy of change. If she just focused her attention and intention to this door, to this opening, then she would see that there were 5 pentacles there, but she is only looking sideways. And so she's not focusing her intention and attention in the right direction, which for us is looking towards the future, being hopeful. Time to go. Now the 3 of Swords, 3, the energy of creativity. But here it's piercing through the heart. And I truly believe through our hardest times, through our struggles, through our obstacles, when Pluto and Saturn completely decimate everything that we attached our identity to and our value to in the material realm, and when all of that is taken away, we truly are opened and awakened and cracked open to who we truly are, the truth of who we are, which is we are all connected to source energy,
which is what we truly, truly know to be true in our souls, our higher selves. We know that the in-between worlds is going from the material realm, where things are just temporary, when it's just the illusion. It's real, but it's not the whole truth. The truth is a spiritual understanding that when we can merge with spirit, when we call on the divine, when we know that we're connected to unconditional love of our heart space, that we have all the abundance, all the security, we are in the flow of everything that we always need at all times. But it takes this, this to get to this, the Three of Cups, which is like one of my favorite cards to see, because there's more than enough to go around. There's more than one cup. The Three of Cups again is 3. So we have 3, 3, 3 here. And you know I love numerology. 3, 3, 3, I've been seeing those numbers everywhere, because 3 is a master number of the teacher, of creative energy. So when you've gone through all this shitty shit, you know, like, you have enough wisdom to teach other people how you got through this transit. And so we have 2 9s here too. Nine of Swords and the 9. Higher wisdom, understanding that this journey taught you something. So this Three of Cups is celebration. And I really feel like, and I'm saying this for myself, I'm so excited. The Three of Cups, this full moon in Capricorn, is you're going to celebrate. You have a higher understanding of why you went through all this crappy time. And it was crappy because I went through it. But you're finally celebrating. You're having a reunion with friends. You're going to be able to impart this wisdom onto other people and sharing your abundance with other people. And notice how this Three of Cups has the heart, and so does this Three of Swords. When you can open up your heart to the divine, you will see that you have more than enough. Oh, I just love it for you so much, and for myself. And I'm so happy that, I feel like overall the messages and the energies for all signs were very positive. And again, this is the full moon in Capricorn, and it's a culmination of energy that really started in December 26, 2019. And I really feel like during this 18-month period, we've all gained a lot of wisdom. We've all gained a lot of knowledge from what we've gone through in these past 18 months. And now moving towards the future, we know what we want to take forward. We know what does not serve us anymore. So it's time to celebrate. It's a time to nourish ourselves. It's a time to tap into those Cancerian energies, because it's Cancer season. And again, Capricorn to me is a sign of success. So thank you so much for watching if you've made it this far. And please let me know down in the comments if anything I've said resonated. Again, I've been channeling for collective energies, so take what resonates and leave what does not. Thank you so much, you beautiful souls. Bye.